Hi everyone, in this video I want to go over how to make a frequency table. Okay, so I have an example. I think we talked about this in class, but I want to make sure that you guys know how to create the frequency table from the collected data. Okay, so if you see this data here, let me see, let me go over here. No, okay. So this data here, oops, let me go here and make the pencil. Okay. Size. Okay. So this data here we collected is the wait times during the lunchtime being served. In other words, that just a drive-up window, and these are the seconds. Okay, the customers wait before they get served. Okay, so we want to look at this data and we want to make a frequency table. Okay, there are some few steps we need to do that, so I'm just going to go over them, make sure that you guys understand how to create the frequency table. So step one, we want to how many classes you want to, in other words, how many rows you want to create. Now usually 5, but it can be a 4. 4 is the minimum, I think. But if you want to do the frequency table, I mean, you can go down below like 4 or 3. But if you have a large data like this one, I mean, reasonably okay. So we're going to use the 5 classes. So in other words, we're going to have 5 different rows there. Okay. Now, next one is going to be, we are going to have to find what the class width is. Okay, so this is the class width. Okay, and then how do we find the class width? We're going to have a maximum data value minus a minimum data value and divided by number of class, which is the 5, because that's what we defined in the beginning. Okay. So the lowest one is going to be 83 here. Okay, that means the customer got served in 83 seconds. The other one is going to be 308. Okay, you can find that over here. Let me find it over here. Okay. So we just 308 minus 83 divided by 5 is about 45. Now because of the we want to make frequency table, we want to use the more convenient number. So I round up to the 50. Okay. Now we know that the minimum value and the maximum value. And then now we know what the class width is going to be. Okay, so the next step is going to be, okay, we're going to choose the value of the for the first lower class limit by using either minimum value or a convenient value below the minimum. So in this case, although we don't have 75, right? 75 seconds, we don't have one. The minimum was 83, but because of the conveniency, we are going to start with a 75. Okay? So that's what the lower limit is. Okay? Now, after that, okay, we need to find out the what other lower class limit is for each row. Okay? So we started at 75, so now each class width from 75 to the next one, the width is going to be 50, right? That's 50. So 50 plus 75 is going to be 125. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing for the next one, right? Then you're going to get 175. Okay, and then after that, you add another 50, you get 225, and so on, right? Now remember, we have 5 classes, so this is a 4. So now next one's going to be our last one here. So here's a 50, and then you got 275. Okay, so these are the lower limits, and each lower limit, the width from the previous one is going to be 50, because that's what we found. Okay, because the reason is 50 is because we round up to the convenient number, because 45 and 50 is much better to deal with, right? So now then, when we're going to have to find the higher limit of each class here. So because of the next lower limit is going to be 125, so the highest you can go from 75 is going to be 124. Okay, and same thing over here. Okay, 125. The next one is going to be 175. So the highest limit you can have is going to be from 124 to the 174. Now you go from 175 to 225. So the maximum on this class has to be 224. Same thing over here, 225 to 275. So the higher limit on this class has to be 274. And the last one is going to be 275 to 308. But as you can see, if I add 50 to 275, you will get 325, right? But that will be, if you have 6 classes, that will be 325 here. So one less than that should be 324. Okay, so we have 5 classes here, and we know the lower limits and upper limits, and that's what you see over here. Let me use purple. Okay, that's what you're seeing over here. Okay, that's how we came up with this frequency table. Now, once you have these 5 classes here, now you're going to have to count how many elements within a data set belongs to between the 75, and in this case 75 seconds and 124 seconds. So you have to count them. There are 11 vehicles that weighted between 75 seconds all the way up to 124 seconds. Then we have 2 vehicles weighted between 275 seconds and up to 324 seconds. Okay, so you're just going to have to count these number of vehicles that weighted in between these time frame, and that's going to be your frequency. Okay, so we call this frequency table. Okay, and this is the one way to summarizing your data. Okay, we have another one called the stem leaf plot, but we call this frequency table, and often we use this frequency table to find the mean and standard deviation. So it's going to be very important to understand how to create the frequency table, and once you have the intervals, make sure that you count the elements that belongs to within that interval. Okay, so this was the video about creating a frequency table. Alright, thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.